If I want to check how multiple variables predict one variable, then I use regression. Click Analyze and find regression, and then click Linear. For the dependent variables, I want to use std_ser sum. And for the independent variable, I first use form of students, and then I use career readiness, and then I use max SDS. There are different ways of regression, different methods. Enter means all predictors are forced into the model simultaneously, and remove means all predictors are removed from the model simultaneously. And stepwise means that the program automatically searches for the strongest predictor, and then the second strongest predictor, and etc. And backwards means the selection starts with removing the variables with the highest p-value, and then stop removing variables when the p-value is smaller than a predetermined value, for example 0.0. And forward means that the variable selection starts with an empty model with no explanatory variables, and then add the variables one by one until we cannot improve the model significantly by adding another variable. And if we want to check the statistics, then we use estimates and the confidence interval, and model fit, R-square change, descriptive, and the collinearity diagnostics. And we click continue. And for the plot, we want to check the dependent variable as the y-axis, and the x-axis. First, we put in the z-score of the predicted variables, and then we click histogram and normal probability plots. And next, we want to check dependent variable as the y-axis, and the x-axis we put in the z-score of the residual. And then we click continue. And for the option part, there is nothing to choose. And for the safe part, we check the predicted variables: unstandardized, standardized, residual part, unstandardized, standardized. Then we can check Cook's distance and the inference statistics, standardized d beta and the standardized d fit. This statistics can tell us whether there is outlier or problematic cases that will affect our model significantly. And then we click continue. And then for the bootstrap, we don't have to click anything, and we click OK. And here is the result of the regression. First, we check model summary. Model summary. Then here, R-square is important. This means the three predictors we put in can totally explain 39.6% of the dependent variable, and this model is a valid model, and the significant test for F change is significant. And for the ANOVA, the value is also significant, which means that this regression model is a valid model. Then we can check the coefficients. These are the beta are the standardized coefficient of regression, and B is the unstandardized coefficient of regression. And here is the significant test of the coefficient. And we can also check residual statistics. Cook's distance is the indicator for us to check whether there is problematic case or outliers. If the Cook's distance is large, then it means there is outliers that significantly affect our model. If Cook's distance is very small, that means there is no outlier that significantly affect our models.